Well, good Tuesday, everyone. This is State Representative Brad Halbrook coming to you live and hopefully in demand on our Illinois Freedom Caucus Tuesday night live stream and roundtable. Guys, we got a couple of subjects we want to touch on real quick. But real quick, Frost on the Pumpkin, Chairman Chris Miller joins us. Chris, you frost on the pumpkin earlier today over there in eastern or southeastern Douglas County?
Yeah, we did. I wasn't quite used to it, too. I was a little chilly this morning. We're trying to wrap up bean harvest, which hopefully that will get accomplished here before it gets too dark this evening. And so, but it's good to be here and looking forward to the conversation about these extremely important topics to the citizens of Illinois.
Exactly. Chris, thanks. And Dan Calkins, treasurer of the Illinois Freedom Caucus, Macon County. What's the Frost on the Pumpkin report up there from earlier today?
This morning it was nice and bright. Sun kind of came in earlier than I was expecting it to. But all was well this morning. Everybody's going to work after a 3-day weekend. So I'm sure that we'll get some conversations this evening from some of our friends. We had a good friend of ours started a new job yesterday. So today was her second day at work, and all is well here. Thanks for asking.
Good deal.
I missed the 3-day weekend, by the way. We had a 3-day weekend.
Yeah, you got a 3-day work weekend.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of fun yesterday walking doors, and they said, well, we just got home. I said, where you been? Well, we've been camping, and we've been doing this, and we've been gone for 3 days. I'm like, well, I appreciate it. It's good deal stuff. It's good stuff. People are out and about. It's been great weather this weekend. And so with that, hey, our state director, Colin Mosley, joins us, the guy that keeps the trains running on time. Colin, what's happening in Flora?
Hey, Brad. Hey, good to be here tonight. And, had a great time with you and Representative Freeze and Marion Saturday night for a town hall down there in Williamson County. That was a great event with Patriots down there. I did have a great 3-day weekend, but I spent all day yesterday working in my garage at the direction of my lovely bride. So it was a great day at home, and happy to be back in the fight for freedom today.
Excellent. Well, guys, as we get into this relentless pursuit of truth, logic, and common sense, let's bring up our slide set here and let's get into a couple of these subjects. And again, we just want to talk about Pritzker's seeking another it may be a failed attempt, but a federal bailout on immigration. Let's go to our first slide. And guys, I'll just tee this up. You guys weigh in, but the governor, J.B. Pritzker, sent a letter to the White House just last week looking for some intervention and coordination at the border. What's your guys' thoughts on this?
A little late to the party. So now what kind of a derogatory name do we want to call him? We've been fighting for this, calling for the state of Illinois to get involved in this deal. We were scheduled to go to the border before COVID hit, as you all remember. So this is, I'm happy to have it. Every bit of help, every governor, every politician, every elected official that will chime in and demand that we close our border and secure our southern border or northern border. I just don't know, what are we going to do with the 3, 4, 5 million people that have already come across illegally? That's going to be the next problem.
Right. Yeah. So he talks about the situation is untenable. What's the deal? I mean, the governor and the prior governor made Illinois a sanctuary state. The prior Chicago administration made Chicago a sanctuary city. They're bursting at the seams. 20,000 illegals have been busted here over the last several months. More on the way. Chris, the words "close the border" never come from Pritzker or Mayor Brandon Johnson's mouth. Wonder why won't they talk about just closing the border? Wouldn't that kind of start to solve this problem?
Well, I think that's one of the things that we've noticed about this administration is the lack of any real solutions to fix any problems that we face here in the state. And the the border is just one of them. That, in order to fix a problem, you have to admit that you have a problem, and a border wide open is not only fiscally irresponsible, it's completely irresponsible to our representative republic that they're supposed to be defending our Constitution, which, they've thrown the Constitution in the toilet a long time ago. But this is, it's a fiscal disaster. Plus, it's a disaster on humanity, because we have all these people they brought up here. They didn't have a plan to begin with. They just wanted to do this because it made them feel good. And now we have a real mess that nobody wants to deal with. And now they want taxpayers from other states to fix our problem, because they're looking for a federal bailout again, which if I lived in another state and Pritzker was wanting to use my tax dollars to fix his mess that he created, that would be a real problem for me.
Right. Colin, we'll bring a slide back up. Any thoughts we've missed there?
Well, I think Chris is totally right, as usual, Mr. Chairman. And when he talks about other states bailing us out, it's the same old song and dance. It reminds me of our energy crisis, where we are now thinking that Ohio is going to bail us out, and their Democrat and Republican lawmakers are saying, no, this is your problem. But, if you picture the southern border like a water pipe, and it has burst a hole and it is dumping into our nation, the practicality of a water pipe at home bursting, do you start mopping the floor first, or do you go shut off the main and close off the water? And I think that's what we have to reckon with, is we have got to stop the flow, and then, like Dan said, deal with what's been dumped here. But honestly, my thoughts on this letter is that JB is like a child running to his daddy after he's made a mess and wanting Joe Biden to bail him out.
Yeah. Well, that's why you're the state director. You're driving into the truth and the logic and the common sense of this, saying, why mop the floors? Why don't we just go find the main valve and shut the incoming supply off? What a great idea. And it is, and that's not racist or anything else. It's just the fact of the matter.
Right.
We've got tens of thousands of these folks coming across the border, the drugs, the sex trafficking, it's off the rails. And now, to listen to these, the governor, and listen to the mayor, and Mayor Eric Adams of New York was on all the weekend morning shows. And it was really funny to listen to the New York mayor. He says, man, this isn't fair to the asylum seekers. This isn't fair to taxpayers. I mean, this was comical. When has a Democrat mayor or governor been concerned about being fair to taxpayers? I mean, Greg Bishop did a great job with this Monday morning, putting this kind of different comments together with these Democrat leaders in these three different, Illinois mayor or Illinois governor, and the Chicago mayor and the New York mayor, just putting their comments together. It was hilarious, and it was sad at the same time that, So anyhow, let's bring this other slide up, get moving along here. We could whip that into, we could talk about that all day long. So Colin, this is a great slide. We've been using this at the town halls, but the spending, and most recently in this fiscal year, the budget that was passed in May included, the estimate was for illegal health care about $1.2 billion, up from about $2 million just 4 short years ago. They actually included about $550 million in the budget, give the governor emergency powers to control the rest of the spend. But this is crazy. The spending is crazy. This is a budget buster, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm. No, well, I mean, we talked about this over and over and over again. This is exactly what we predicted when this budget was proposed. Right. Last May. They said, we'll only spend $536 million. We'll put controls on it, and we're going to make people have copays, and on and on and on. None of that's happened. We knew it wasn't going to happen. And I'm surprised that we haven't heard more, from the Hispanic caucus. I'm surprised we haven't heard more from the Black caucus. It's everything we said it was going to be. And this is where you get this supplemental to talk about a supplemental. We don't need a supplemental. The governor's already been given the authority to move money around within the budget, within certain parameters, to fix any problems that they screwed up. So I don't know if you saw the article that he's already moved money out of these other housing supporting these funds that are supposed to help people, afford their rent. He's already taken money out of that fund. So every poor person in Illinois that's, needs help, needs assistance, is going to suffer because Governor Pritzker and Mayor Brandon Johnson have created an issue that they can't fix. And they're not, as Chris said, they're not willing to admit that it's a problem. Right. So here we sit tonight, taking money out of these other programs that were, as they were appropriated by the Democrats. And I'm just waiting to hear them scream about it. And maybe we'll see it in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I think
Chris, go ahead, Chris.
Well, I just think just to dovetail into what Dan's saying, I think that when we analyze what's going on here in Illinois and we look at quality of life issues, I mean, every quality of life issue has gone down since J.B. Pritzker has been in office, and mainly, and it's all to do because of bad public policy. That's that is the crime in all of this, is everything has been self-inflicted. People can't pay their electric bill. They're having trouble buying gas. I mean, just the list goes on and on and on. And it's all because of bad public policy. And the good news is that since it was bad public policy that created this mess, we can carve out good public policy to fix this mess. And so hopefully that there'll be some resolve to do that as we go back into the veto session.
Yeah, Colin, it was, I got to believe that the governor is picking up all the seat cushions and all the pillows throughout every place he can, looking for every spare nickel he can. This idea of moving the money around. I mean, this rental housing stuff that he's already talking about, Dan, you mentioned that. I mean, this is kind of their flagship deal to provide more state and federal subsidies to people rather than kind of get people back on their feet and get them out working and have a better jobs and climate, a better employment climate. We just want to throw more taxpayer money at these problems. So I don't know how that's all going to play out. We'll see how this all goes. But yeah, Colin, any thoughts before we move to the next slide?
I just think you're spot on that we're doing nothing but creating a culture of dependency, not only for American citizens, but for the people that come across our border here to our country. And we are going to have to reckon with it at some point.
Right. Well, I thought it was funny as we close this out, the city of Chicago is spending, I think, $50 million a month on housing. There has been outrage from some minority members of the Chicago city aldermen. There has been some outrage from community citizens because it's putting pressure on their stuff that they're used to having. He inked this deal for $30 million to put up these winterized tents. I guess in his press conference, he said that they were getting one put up every 8 days. And the governor says, hey, it's going to get cold. Some of these people need to go to red states where it's warmer. We forgot to mention that these red states have chose not to be sanctuary states. So that's why they're sending them to states like Illinois, New York, and others that are blue states. But it was funny as we close this one out, Mayor Brandon Johnson said that he was going to do his part so everybody else could do their part, so he could do his part, so everybody else could do their part. It was just kind of humorous. I'm sorry.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting when they start taking money out of the new Green Deal. Yeah. Well, we've got all this new Green Deal money, and we know these programs aren't working to training people to be in the renewable energy sector. They're not getting jobs. They're not completing these courses. Why not take money out of the new Green Deal, Governor, and admit that that's a failure and move it over for healthcare?
Right. Exactly. Hey guys, let's bring up our last slide here. This was kind of wrapping up from a press conference that we held a week ago, Monday night in Manteno, as the governor has laid out a plan to provide a Chinese communist-backed company to build electrical batteries for automobiles to the tune of $536 million of taxpayer credits. That's just on the state side, $536 million. Chris, I know you're kind of plugged into the federal stuff. What's the number there look like?
I think that it's 7.5 billion with a B, which, when you do the math for the projected number of jobs that they are claiming that they're going to create, that's just a mere $3 million per job that they're going to create, that the taxpayers get to. I mean, it's not funny, but I mean, what are you going to do? You got to either laugh or cry, because it's so dangerously stupid that these guys are supposed to be the best and brightest. And here, I mean, as you have mentioned before, this is the home of truth, logic, and common sense. And I'm not sure where the logic and common sense fall into play in any of this stuff. It's insanely stupid.
Yeah. Well, and there were several media outlets there that night. We're seeing reports of 400 citizens from one media outlet, the Kankakee, some paper out of Kankakee County talked about 400 people there. It was a good crowd. It was a great evening. We replayed the press conference last Tuesday night. So if you've not seen that, you can go back and find it on all our different channels. But Dan, this just seems like insanity to subsidize a production facility to this amount of money. It just seems, and again, this is the 18th deal. The governor's had, I'm sorry, 19th, I think.
19th.
The governor's had 18 rejections from American companies and companies in other countries that are more friendly to the United States, and he ends up on the 19th deal with the Chinese communists.
Yeah. Well, this is interesting. I don't, there's got to be a backstory to this. I don't know what it is. I'm sure someone will dig into it and we'll figure it out. But it's an affront to every citizen in this state, in this country, for that matter, to be doing deals like this. So we'll see. I'm hopeful that the local residents have used this our little rally press conference to their advantage. I know they were going to hire an attorney to help them work through some of the zoning issues, the environmental issues. This is, I don't care who's building it. It's worse because it is a Chinese company.
Right.
But, the facility that they're going to use is already built. I mean, it's an old Kmart, as I understood it, close to a school. The water resources are not there in that community. They get their water from the Kankakee River. And that river they're tapped out on essentially what they can draw out of that river just to support their local needs. And now you're going to put a plant in there that has a heavy water usage. And environmentally, it creates an issue where they're going to put it. So our thoughts are with the folks from Manteno. I know that we'll be back up there if they need us.
Yeah. Well, Colin, we've talked about the kind of the economics from the taxpayer subsidies and the like. We're tasked as legislators to be good stewards of the taxpayers' money. But yet, and we've kind of touched on the environmental stuff and the secrecy. We haven't even talked about the secrecy that's went on to get it to this point, the environmental stuff. The list really just goes on and on and on. Colin, any closing thoughts on this Goshen business?
Well, the people of Manteno have been completely and totally blindsided, and that's a disservice done to them by their local government. And I know immediately after our press conference, those hundreds of people piled into the village board meeting and expressed their thoughts, and then into the zoning meeting the next morning. And that's where I think right now a lot of the frustration is mounting is why was the first line of defense not taken? And so, and that's another expression of the importance of the Freedom Caucus going up there, because as we've done across the state already, when there is a community in need of assistance and amplifying their message, we will be there every time, no matter what, and taking care of this. And just to wrap up my thought on that slide, Brad, you touched on it. Where in the world are the environmentalists on this issue? Because I know that Chairman Miller and I believe yourself in comments last Monday mentioned that every dollar that we have given to this company absolutely goes to fund child labor, inhumane work environments in China, and overall the Chinese world takeover. Where in the world are the environmentalists at on this issue?
Right. Human rights, the whole deal. You got it. Hey guys, let's put up our kind of closing out slide here. This is where you can find us, Colin, IllinoisFreedomCaucus.org, and you check that, and there's a way to subscribe to our weekly e-news. Anything else, Colin, that we need to tell folks about what they can find on our website?
If you're looking for the conservative take on Illinois politics, you just go right there and you'll find it.
Excellent. All right, gentlemen. Any closing thoughts real quick, or are we just ready to close out?
I want to say a quick word about what's going on over in the Middle East and how it affects us. Israel is in a fight for its life, and we need to certainly, absolutely stand up and support what they're doing. They need to rid that region of a terrorist organization, without a doubt. The thing that I'm concerned about as well is, who do we have in this country? Who do we let across our borders here in the United States of America? We know that people are flooded across our border from China, from every country all over the world. And yesterday, the news came out that our government, our federal government, has lost track of millions of these folks. Where are they? Who are they? And when are they going to show up? Are they really going to show up for their hearings? I'm very concerned about that. And our president, Biden, and this administration, I think, has put our country in peril. So it goes right back to where we started. Shut the border off and let's go round up these folks and give them their due process if that's what they have coming. But we know that over 90% of them here are not really qualified asylum seekers, and we need to get them out. And I just hope that we don't find ourselves in some serious jeopardy from the folks that have come across our border. So pray for Israel.
Yeah, truly perilous times, Chairman Miller. This is playing out hour by hour. We saw the slaughter of innocent people there in Israel this weekend. This is not going to go well for lots of people. So lots to be thinking about here.
Yeah.
All right. Colin, anything else, or we go to close?
My one closing comment is keep your eyes on the race for Speaker of the House. That vote will be coming down in the next 2 days, most likely. Keep your eyes on Speaker of the House race, especially with all of our international crises going on right now.
Going to make it interesting. All right, gentlemen, thanks for joining, and here we go. We'll talk to you real soon, guys.